Hello. I wanted to say this last thing. First of all, I got this Excision shirt on. Atlanta's on here somewhere. I didn't go, not to this show. I wanted to, but I didn't go. Um, but music in general, super powerful. Everybody knows that. Um, Bass music, super loud. People know that. Super awesome. Uh, I mean, EDM in general, really, because I'm thinking about techno too. And what if we really honed in on the message? What if we really honed in on what was the point and the purpose of it? I've been trying to for the last few years when making music to really have like more of a message to what I'm saying. I know people are like, I'm here to make a story, and some people they make a story. It's really great, but some people it's kind of like a story, but it's not really. I don't know, and I'm still working on that too. Like my stuff is not perfect, like at all. But there should be some sort of story or some sort of message, or something, and a purpose. And so, in my general opinion, why not make something that is like worth giving and sharing to the world? Um, and some people they do care about other people's story, but some it's like, what is the point behind your story? I'm talking a lot about just these general things. So let me get very vague for you. I really just believe that if we really honed in on a message that was very important to people that actually, I don't know, did something like maybe saved their souls, gave them hope, gave them power, then, it's like they would be able to take that for years and years to come. And I think that's what some of the most, I want to say the most important bass music tracks do in general is they kind of bring this honing in of something that happened in history or something that was really major, something that had meaning, and that's what made it such a legendary track or something like that. For example, I don't know, Biceps, Glue, you got Armin van Helden's track, I think it's called You Don't Know Me or something like that. Um, just both bold statements, one without words and one with words. And then just in general. And I think we have a lot of artists that are just making tracks that are really good and are loud, but are also filler, meaning that it just kind of helps to fill in the track. You know what I'm saying? It helps to fill in the time, gives you a little time and space. And maybe people do, and this is actually what I do. When I go hunting and looking for music, I check. I'm like, what is the meaning? What is the message behind this? What does this mean? What does your story mean? And so I'm wanting to do more. I'm wanting to do interviews with people and artists in general, but just in general, like what is the purpose of what you do? Is it to make it out of where you were at? Is it just to teach people that you can make little from a lot from a little? Um, Now, for me personally, my hope is that my music can bring and glorify Jesus and make him shine in front of everyone because he's the most important thing in my life. This is the only reason why I live and breathe. I actually even just get in sometimes a really somber mood and just like, you know what I'm saying? Just like I'm like, ugh, like, because none of this matters if it's not about God. Like, if it's not about my eternity in Christ, then none of the rest of this stuff doesn't matter, you know? And it's hard because I want it to matter, I want to be so involved in stuff where it matters, but it's just hard, like that's why so much stuff is really gray and dull to me now, because it's like, if it's not about Jesus and bringing people to Christ and bringing them closer, it's like, dang, it don't matter like that. It's not that important to me, that's why raves have become more obsolete in my life, because I'm like, I want to do something with that at some point, but currently they're just me dying to go to one. I'm like, why though? Why am I going there? What am I gonna do there? Me traveling around the world to DJ at one point, it really sounded super logical and really great in my head. But when I look at it now, I'm like, why do I actually want to do that? Do I really want that headache? Because apparently it's a headache. If you've looked on the internet long enough and you've looked at some of DJ stories long enough, you'll see it's kind of more of a headache than it is like a pleasure. And now I've got children, that I've brought into this world, and it's amazing. But it's like, well, what is going to matter more? Me really focusing and honing in on a electronic dance music career, that's going to blow up, that I'm going to travel with now, or really honing in on my kids and bringing them closer to Christ? Probably going to choose Christ. You know what I'm saying? Choose Christ every time. I'm going to choose Christ every time because that's the only thing that's brought me fulfillment. You can continuously keep going to shows each and every day of your life or each weekend, continuously, and you still find that there's no purpose and that there's no hope in your life after you leave. Once you leave 3 a.m., 4 a.m. at the club and you are back at home, you know, maybe showered, maybe not, and you just wake up the next day and like, dang, I'm tired, dang, I have a headache. If you did drugs or if you drank, dang, I had a hangover. And you're just like, all right, well, back to my life, back to my 9 to 5, back to me sleeping on somebody else's couch. Because, let's be honest, some of us are broke. Not me. Not I've been there. I've been down, bro. I've been down bad. But for real, we go through this cycle, and then we just are just hoping we have enough money to make it to the next rave, And so we're rave hopping over and over and over. Doom, 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 and then that's it. And then we go back home and we save up money and do it again. And then the festival, the 3-day festival, save money and do that. And it's just, what's the point? What's the meaning? And I think that's what I think is the most painful part just about my life and what I see and what I used to live in and what I live in now, because it's like when I look back into where I look now, I'm like, what was the point of all this? What was the point of all this? Somebody pulling up. I don't know who that is. I'm unfamiliarized. I'll be back. Anyway, figure out what the point is and go from there. Bless you.